Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the day 2 of the Youth Majlis here at Davos. My name is Dalal Sathan, and I'm excited to be moderating today's session. We've been having several conversations here at the Youth Majlis about generation transformation, promoting intergenerational dialogue, which we will be doing here today. In a very exciting and relevant topic, enabling resilience through mental well-being, with a distinguished panel of speakers. We have with us Mr. Shoukei Matsumutu, founder and CEO, Interbeing Japan. Mr. Roman Smolinets, medical tutor at the an anesthetic anesthesiology resident at the emergency hospital in Ukraine. And Mr. Fahad Jamaluddin, the co-founder of NAFTA in Lebanon and also a global shaper. Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. I'm going to start the session with a very important question, I think, to all of us. I want to ask each one of you, what is your definition of resilience in the face of mental health? I can start with you, Mr. Roman.
Well, in my personal opinion, resilience nowadays is when you're able to respond to challenges in this uncertain, like the world of uncertainty, when we have war, when we have climate change problems, when we have problems with energetic and so on, and especially for youth, it's our mission to provide, to teach young generation, young leaders and employees how to be able to respond to these challenges.
Yes, very exciting. What about you, Mr. Shoukei? What do you think is the definition of resilience?
Yes. My definition is resilience is to be open to whatever happens in around you. So even especially in this crisis, in many ways, it's very important to cultivate the openness to the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. What about you, Mr. Fahad?
So I think resilience is something that you train yourself as you go on your journey, and you try to utilize different tools to enhance your resilience as you walk within this journey. And I think during this session we're going to talk about the different tools that we will be utilizing to enhance our resilience.
Amazing, absolutely. And for you, Mr. Roman, I want to ask, how can we promote positive mental health in young people, in your opinion?
Well, in my opinion, it depends of a lot of stakeholders working together to solve the problem, for business, for government, for educational, like school, universities, and so on. And so we should create an opportunity to teach how to deal with this. Use evidence-based practice is like the best way, in my personal opinion.
Absolutely, and that would be going to you, Mr. Fahad, since you were in education policy. What policies can we introduce to impact health and education in this case?
Yeah, I think we've seen a rise, as you can see, in terms of awareness of mental health. But I think there is a broader perspective that affects any practice for mental health or services that are provided, which I think it's more a broader policy aspect of human rights and tackling different issues that also affects the well-being of the people. So I think the first thing to look when we want to look at when thinking about mental health is the broader policy on human rights, and then I think anything would be a byproduct of how this could be shaped. But I think there are a lot of initiatives, and I think the increase of awareness of mental health is due to the scaling of mental health practices, of the accessibility towards that. But we also, I think we need to be more critical of those who are unable to reach these services, who might be less privileged. Or so, for instance, I come from Lebanon. The first opportunity that I got introduced more into mental health is through the counseling service at my university, at American University of Beirut. So it was challenging first, but because there is this space within your faculty, it's much more easier. But it's not the case in Lebanon in different universities. There are few universities that have this access, youth who have this access to this service. But again, counseling is just one tool that you can use to enhance or work on your resilience.
Yes.
But generally, there are different, I would say, from a policy perspective, there are different policies that has been scaled globally, and I think we can learn from these which were scaled.
And I think in this day and age, we are able to access different, for example, books or tools to learn how to build resilience. And this is where I wanted to ask about your book, Mr. Shoke, A Monk's Guide to a Clean House and Mind. It places importance on skills, yes, absolutely, that are important for young people to learn in order to be resilient. So what can we learn? What are the mental skills in your book that we can learn from that?
So I bring this broom. So
To clean our minds.
clean our mind, and
Right.
so, but when I bring it to the Congress Center, everybody say it's too small to clean. clean
That's
up.
true.
Yeah. So anyway, so the idea, I'm introducing the practice of cleaning as a mindfulness practice is. It seems like, so cleaning is a regular practice for any person, and so it's not very special. Just if you have broom, you can do that. But the idea is so cleaning itself could be done by the even machine,
Equipment,
right?
yes.
Yeah. But can you outsource meditation for others? No, right? So you need to do
Starts within,
yourself,
yes.
right? So as a practice of mindfulness, cleaning, you cannot outsource it to others. So it's just you can start with rooms, and with this room, you can touch the world, right?
Yes.
And you can feel the world, your environment, and you can be connected to to outside.
Surroundings, yes.
Yeah, and so around cleaning, I have an initiative which offer people to practice the cleaning, chanting, and chatting with monks in a temple. So in the morning, and so I offer it in Tokyo, and many young people come and join it.
Meditate.
And meditate.
Right.
Yeah. So, what is interesting about cleaning is it reminds you of the importance of unlearning of perfectionism. You may think of cleaning as a practice of perfectionism, but actually it's not like that. I mean, you cannot, you can never complete cleaning, right?
There's
So
always more
there
to
is no
clean.
end,
Yes, there's no end.
right? Right after you finish cleaning in your garden,
Right,
the
there's always
leaves
more.
come. So, yeah, so in my observation, many young people, not only young people, but many people are suffers from perfectionism.
Mhm.
So it's a good way
challenge.
to change the mindset.
It's true. They always say a clean desk is a clean brain. I have a very messy desk myself, but I'd like to think that I do meditate. So I'd like to think that I've practiced the right tools. But we talked about education and how they can impact or how they can improve the impact of mental health. I want to go back to really employers and how they can impact mental health, given that you're part of the emergency hospital in Ukraine, and you probably go through a lot of situations where you might be impacted. So what would you say about that?
Yes, this is true. Well, I'm working in the biggest hospital in the Western Ukraine, which is also the biggest evacuation hub from the places of active hostilities from the east of Ukraine. And so I see amount of drama every day. And so I see a lot of people with the mental health problem, with post-traumatic stress disorder and so on. And so it's very important to create a space where those people could take important mental health support, rehabilitation, resocialization, and so on.
For the employees.
And for and for the employees, yes, I mean for the employees. So, for example, in our hospital we have like big projects called Unbroken, when, for example, employee, special medical doctors, nurses, and so on, just if come and just could like for free to speak to resolve some our inner problems, and that's important. And also, it's important to have something like mental health day in a job. Yes, so give your employees some free day or something like this.
Yes.
So, but in my personal opinion, the best way is to create a space with a specialist in which every employee could go and could solve their own problems. Yes, with a specialist. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. So all stakeholders should come together.
Yes.
To help battle this.
Because it's about like
Collaboration.
Yes, and this is increasing the level of work in your company. So it's important for your boss.
For you to be mentally,
yes, because for example, depression,
well.
like we see the level of depression is increasing dramatically every year. Yes, and so like a lot of people would not come to the work. Yes, instead because of this. So it is really important nowadays.
What do you think the employers should do? Besides, you think they should give them a mental health well-being day or free day?
I think well-being day it's the best choice, and also with space with a specialist.
Yes.
Yes.
I may also add something that's important. I think it's also important the culture of the where
Yes.
I mean, working on the culture and enhancing the culture where everyone feels safe to talk about anything, to say that I'm not feeling okay now mentally, and for others to accept that, for others to support whoever is feeling like this. I think it's important in order to, I mean, yes, one day could help, a mental day could help, but I think it's important to think systemically how can we improve the experience of anyone to come to work and to feel safe talking about any issue they are facing.
Yes, awareness is very important because it's getting more and more serious by the day given social media, and this is what I wanted to ask actually. Do you think social media had an impact on mental health today? Young people are facing more issues than before with social media, and how do you think we can learn the right tools
I
to
think
combat
definitely
that?
social media accelerated the whole awareness on mental health, and also it provided it created more access to different self-care let's say routines or tools or other than counseling. So counseling and therapy is one tool that one can leverage to enhance one's mental health. But there are a lot of tools that you can use, starting from, you were saying, meditation or yoga or I don't know, affirmative prayer or journaling or reading or walking. There are so many different, I would say, strategies that youth can utilize to enhance their mental health. So it's not only about therapy, but also therapy is very important because I see therapy as a tool for growth, for self-growth. So one friend told me, "Oh, you go to therapy, so what's your issue? What's your problem?" I was like, "No, I don't have any problem. It's just a tool I utilize to work on my own personal growth, learning about things that I have and how I can solve them and how can, I would say, rewire my brain and how I look into the world in a different perspective, maybe.
Yeah, some people think it's taboo to mention, therapy or anything. They're a bit like embarrassed and they don't want to say it. But today it's more needed than ever. I wanted to ask, are there any measures to you, Mr. Shoke? Are there any measures that youth can take to, besides meditating and being clean in the book, that they can take to become more resilient?
Yeah, so I want to introduce my initiative as a new example. So as you said, so it's very important to create a safe space, right? But sometimes, as you said, so the counseling or the therapy, in some cultures, the employees are not very open to, consult or even talk about those things. So I started initiative that offers for employees to have a conversation with Buddhist monks like me. The idea is having an opportunity to have a conversation with total stranger. So to give them a safe space. So there's no conflict of interest with Buddhist monks. So so it works. And also I think it is also important to feel connection with others. But of course, sometimes for people sometimes get lost connection with others. So in some traditions, including Japan, there is a good practice to remember the connection with our ancestors. Ancestors are invisible, not living right now, but still in my heart, in our heart, they exist. So feeling the connection with ancestors is also a very good practice.
Yes, passing the wisdom from an older generation.
Right.
Which is what we're doing here, really, is with our intergenerational dialogue. We're trying to pass wisdom and learn from each other, youth and otherwise. I wanted to ask you, Mr. Roman, in your experience within the hospital, if you had a case of an employee that had, some sort of issues in mental health, how would you deal with that?
Yes, we have had this serious issues because during the war, like the level of stress is increasing dramatically. And for example, when, as my hospital worked during air alarms or when it's bombings or blackouts and so on. So it's and for example, a lot of employees have their own children, beloved person, and so on, and they just not can focus on the work they should do.
They have to be resilient.
Yes, they just had to take the place for their children. Yes, they really anxious, and so we see the cases when, for example, some employees have like really big problem, big issues, and so like it's our administrator, the head of our like hospital, they decided to create this space, yes, for those workers, and like we all like collaborate together and help them, yes. So we find a specialist, we find an opportunity to treat like this, because we understand that we cannot work properly if our employees are not focused, yes. So it's so we created this resilience during work. Yes, the space and the resilience in our culture, and very open, like open communication. Tell what is your feeling about, yes, why you feel anxious.
Open conversation,
yes,
and transparency.
Yes, open conversation, tell about own feelings, and so we have like really cool internal culture, like our like in the workspace. So we could like in easy way to tell somebody that sorry, I feel depressed, my friend have died yesterday, and so on. and I feel anxious about blackouts and so on. So this is very important in the society, in the work society, in the companies, in the business, in the government, everywhere, probably in the world nowadays, to create this atmosphere, and this atmosphere will solve the problems. Yes, because we are like friends. Yes, so we just created the space to help each other, which is very important.
Yes. Very interesting. I wanted to also go back to you, Mr. Fahad. In terms of education, you said a couple of things like, journaling, meditating, and also, for example, giving space. How do you think we can include that in our education, for example, to maybe educate them about these tools? Because these are some of the tools that they can do to combat mental health.
So I'll also maybe I'll take 1 or 30 seconds to introduce what I do so I can link
Yes,
it.
please.
So I run NAFDA Lebanon. We are building a collective of schools who have a common vision of the school of the future in Lebanon and making progress towards that vision. And what's very inspiring is that this vision is co-created by the people on the ground. So people came around the schools and through community visioning, thinking that self-care and mental health is one of the main impact areas, or one of the main, I would say, vision components that they want to see in the future of schools. So I think there's a big, I would say, a lot of how I would say it. One, there's a lot of research. Two, there's also a lot of tools that are being created for mindfulness within the school.
Yes.
So this is one big area of research that's also being thought of, being tested. While being tested, also researchers are trying to produce some evidence on how this can enhance the well-being of the kids and the adolescents within talking about schools. But I think also it can be through different practices that teachers should learn through social emotional learning. So I think there's a big trend in terms of shifting towards more social emotional learning for people to identify what I'm feeling at this moment, what can I do to enhance how I'm feeling. It's there, but I think we need to make more systematic transformation through policy, through the curriculum, rather than really small initiatives that some schools, some educators, some people could uptake, and some people really don't care about.
Are you working on, for example, adding mindfulness as a curriculum in education? Would that be something?
So what's interesting about our model is that schools pick what they want and what they choose. So because we really believe in the agency of the people, and only when they pick what they want, they are able to completely work on it. So far, until now, no one of the schools worked on mindfulness, but a lot of schools worked on self-expression. And also worked on mental health, but not specifically as mindfulness as a tool for them to try to test and use and institutionalize within their schools.
Yes. Okay, great. Well, I mean, those are all great ideas. I think that mindfulness adds a lot to one being. Gratitude, for example, is one of them. And I wanted to ask in terms of your culture, because I know the culture is a big factor here in terms of mental health. Some cultures are taboo, some cultures are more open to it. In Japan, how is mental health and well-being addressed, whether it's in the education or in employees?
It's a big problem in Japanese society. So still we are working on addressing the issue, but so we need to create more innovative way to solve it. So I want to be part of the.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that what the initiative is about, is to help promote that awareness?
All right.
Yes. Okay, amazing. And what about you, Mr. Roman? How do you see, for example, in your culture, mental health or mindfulness?
Well, I see it as a trend of increasing destigmatization of mental health problem, yes. So especially in the US, okay, like
Young people.
young people are really like more aware about mental health
Yes.
problems. They like decided just for themselves to go to the specialist, yes, and grew by this way. And so nowadays it's like we created culture. We still have problems. There's a lot of problems, but we have a culture in which young people just communicate in easy way, and it's I think it's a really big progress, and I think, but the field is like very big to
Yes.
work on, but this young generation is creating this progress, so new young generation will like do the same.
Learn this.
So yes.
Amazing. Thank you so much. We're actually running out of time, but these are all great, honestly, tools that we've learned from all of you. Thank you for all your efforts in educating people on mindfulness and also mental health well-being. Thank you. This will be it. If there are any questions from the audience, we can go ahead and take some. If we have maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes. No? Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, yes, sure.